So 2024 is going to be the year of the budget cruise for me. I'm going to become, I'll call it a value cruiser, if you will. I'm looking to put my money to the best cruise lines that I can, and I wanted to walk you all through how I'm booking my 2024 cruises. We'll go through some of the math, some of the numbers, and then some strategies that you can use to also be a budget cruiser or a value cruiser. Hey everybody, it's Brandon, the Weekend Cruiser, where I go on a weekend cruise just about every weekend, and my cruising style changes some. You all know that I do love a junior suite, but I'm not staying in junior suites anymore. If anything, I'm staying in interior cabins where you see me sitting today. So I am super excited to start saving some money. Now, some of you know cruising is not the cheapest of hobbies that I could have picked up, but there are ways to minimize that cost. You know, and looking at my life, I wanted to retire at some point. Like, I saw me putting so much money out there for cruise ships, and I still love my cruise experience. But there's ways for me to be able to cut some corners so that I can still cruise often and be able to hopefully retire one day. So let's go through some of the math on what my numbers and how much I've spent in or will spend in 2024 if it all pans out. So I've got right now 29 cruises booked. For 90 nights, 90 total nights. They're all weekend cruises, by the way. I think there might be a few 4 nights in there with Celebrity, but it's 90 nights for about $13,900, almost at that $14,000 amount, which is under $1,200 per month, which isn't bad in the scheme of things. Like, that is much lower than what I have traditionally been paying in the past. This does include taxes and fees. The cost per night is going to be $154 per night is kind of what I'm averaging, or around $479 per weekend. So I now have a baseline to say, okay, this is like my average for what I'm paying for a cruise. If I'm under that, I'm going to be saving money. If I'm above that, I'm going to have to start pulling out some cash to pay for it. This is comprised of really 3 different cruise lines right now. 13 of them are on MSC, 9 on Royal Caribbean, and 7 of them are on Celebrity Cruise Lines. Virgin Voyages is not on there yet, mainly because they don't do weekends, and so I need to plan that a little bit closer to the date that I got, but hopefully I'll still be making it on Virgin Voyages. Again, this is much cheaper than what I've traditionally done, and I've got 6 ways that I wanted to share with you on how I am doing this. The first one is I looked away from my traditional cruise line. You all know that I love Royal Caribbean. I've been there a lot. I've started not booking Royal Caribbean because their prices have gone up while their quality, I felt like, is really going down. And so I've stopped booking Royal Caribbean, and that is saving me a ton of money. Their loyalty program for somebody like myself who does not drink, who does not value the drinks that you get, it's okay. Like, I'm happy going to other cruise lines. So that has substantially decreased my monthly cruise cost, my annual cruise cost, to go on an actual cruise. Now, 13 of those cruises are on MSC, as I mentioned, with an average cost of $397 for the weekend. For a solo cruiser, that is a price that is unmatched by any other person, any other cruise line that is out there. RCL, Royal Caribbean, is coming in at $766 for the weekend. That is almost double what I can do on MSC, and I tell you, I swear to you, they are an extremely similar experience these days. They are very similar. Do I want to pay more to have the same experience, or do I want to pay a lot less, a fraction of the cost, if you will, to have that experience? I'm going to choose the fraction of a cost. The one thing that's kind of driving Royal Caribbean up is I also did book Utopia of the Seas, so I'm going to call that out there. I will be there on one of her, not new sailings, or maiden sailing, but I'll be there a few months after when the price comes down. But that's driving my price up a lot, is because I went with a new ship. I never do that. But it's a weekend cruise. I kind of have to be there, right, guys? And I'm excited to cover Utopia, but I'll probably not be going back for a few years until her prices calm down a little bit. The other way that I got this price to be as low as it is, and this is going to be counterintuitive to what I just said, is I stayed loyal to cruise lines. It's one way that I'm able to cruise a little bit cheaper this year. So with that being said, I have 2 milestone certificates with Royal Caribbean. In their Crown and Anchor Society, when you reach the Pinnacle level, you get a free cruise. And then when you reach 1400, that's a balcony room, at 700. But when you reach 1400, you start getting junior suites, or a certain amount of money that you can put towards the cruise. And so I had 2 of those certificates, the 1400 and the 1050, I believe, that I was able to put into 2024. And those cruises are free. I only have to pay the port fees and taxes to go on those because the Crown and Anchor Society is covering that cost for me. So that really helped keep 2 of my cruises to be 0. And so that will definitely skew the numbers. If I back that out a little bit, I might have a more genuine number, accurate number, but it works out. The third thing that I'll say is, when I'm looking at my cruises, timing is everything, right? If you're looking at paying, going on during very specific weeks, if you're going on spring break, you're going in the summer, you're doing a holiday cruise, whether it's Thanksgiving or Christmas, you're going to be paying a premium. So if you're locked into only certain weeks, this strategy is not going to work for you. You have to go at a certain time. But for me, I don't need to go during spring break. I don't even need to go during the summer. I actually take June and July and most of August out because the prices on all cruise lines are just through the roof. And so I traditionally don't do a lot of sailing then to keep this price down. I'm fine getting it done the rest of the year and then just hanging out somewhere else during the summer. The fourth thing that I'll say is make sure you are booking early these days. So a lot of these deals that I was able to come up with for 2024, I booked them early. The days of showing up to the cruise terminal and buying a ticket, getting all these last minute deals does not exist anymore. Cruise ships are filling up, they're reaching capacity, and they've got their algorithms for their dynamic pricing models down to a T. And so if you were able to get a really good deal early on, you should do that. That's where you're going to find it. And that's how I was able to get a lot of these low prices. I know on MSC, I went a few months ago and tried to book a friend on this cruise, and I couldn't even get him on the cruise and stay in the same room. It was this whole thing. So book them early and you're going to get the best deals. I've already got some things booked in 2025 just so I could get the interior studio room and pay for one person versus paying for 2 or even 2.5 people these days. And the fifth thing that I'll say, and I think that this is definitely a personal preference, but if you're looking to be a budget and value cruiser, you don't need that balcony. You do not need the balcony. It's okay not to have a balcony. I know everybody says that they're the end all be all, and there's some people that are claustrophobic, they have to have it. But at the end of the day, if you're comfortable staying in an interior room, especially if you're looking at weekends like I am, for 3 days, you can absolutely figure out an interior room. But there's plenty of space upstairs. There's plenty of common areas. You can get out of the room. And if anything else, it encourages you to get out of the room and do something. Go to an activity, meet somebody. I think that it's a good thing that it forces you out of your room some. So you don't need to pay that premium to get a balcony. I promise you, you will be just as happy in an interior, and you'll find plenty of places that you can sit and look at the water just a few flights of stairs up. And the sixth thing, and you know I am a huge fan of using travel agents, use a travel agent. They will not always save you money. Sometimes they can't do that. But often they may have a group rate. They may have something that's refundable versus non-refundable. They give you a lot more options and can help you out with booking really good cruises, especially if they send out emails and say, hey, I've got a great deal here. Who wants to come? It's a great way to make sure that you're seeing the value cruises that are out there if you're not checking them every day like I might be. So make sure you're checking out this video here on how travel agents save me. I am a huge fan of them, and they might actually be able to save you a little bit of money. All right, everybody, this is Brandon, the Weekend Cruiser, where I go on a budget cruise just about every weekend.